Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. First things first, I'm doing a 37,000 subscriber giveaway. The entry video was posted earlier today, so if you want a chance to win some free silver, who wouldn't? Make sure you go enter that video. You got to be subscribed though. When I hit 38,000, I'm doing another giveaway. 39,000, another one. 40,000 subscribers, I'm giving away over $1,000 worth of silver. You got to be subscribed. I also post daily videos keeping you guys in the loop. Today's video, critical to watch. Every single thing that I talk about on this channel, every video that I post is relevant and important to know in the silver stacking world. You cannot be blindly investing anymore. You got to know what's going on a daily basis. The markets can switch, can change on the drop of a dime. And if you're someone who just watches videos once every, couple weeks or couple months, you're not going to have the same chance of success as someone who's tuning in daily, seeing what's happening to the markets, why they're being affected that way, adjusting your strategy, adapting. You guys that watch my videos daily, you know what I'm talking about, right? There's a big difference between investing and gambling. Investors make strategic decisions based off information. Gamblers just throw money, buy something, and just hope it makes money for them. Just hope it sticks. We are investors, not gamblers. Now, we got a couple of different articles that we're going to go over. Today's talking about silver takes the gold in our outrageous predictions vote. Remember last week, maybe like a week and a half ago, I posted a poll on my channel asking you guys when you think silver will hit $100. Over 800 people voted in this poll. This company posted a poll that was talking about silver or gold or what's going to happen. And the results are staggering. If you want to know the results of mine, 41% of you think silver's going to hit $100 in the first 1 to 6 months. And actually, I checked. It was 41% for a while. Now, there's a lot more votes than that. That was, when I made that video. Now it's dropped down to about 35% or something around those lines. So I think people are coming more to their senses. Mind you, I did post that during the Reddit frenzy, so people were probably a lot more hyped up and ramped up about silver, pushing up to $1,000. But still, it is interesting to see how bullish people are. We have another article talking about silver taking on a life of its own. Remember how I always said that someday silver is going to take on a life of its own. Regardless of what stock market volatility is, regardless of the dollar index, regardless what gold is doing, silver is going to take on a life of its own. Why? Because nothing else is used for or like silver. It performs like silver. Silver being the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity and electricity and light sensitivity, it's used in everything. In the everyday world, nothing performs like silver. So why are the prices of gold and silver so directly correlated if they're used for two completely different things? And stock market volatility affecting silver, I don't see the correlation, especially nowadays, as there's a silver shortage and supply and demand should be the main thing of pushing or affecting prices. Well, we're starting to see that silver gains ground despite stronger dollar. That does not happen. There's a direct correlation to the dollar index and precious metals. And when I say direct, there's like a negative 0.09 there's like a negative 0.09 difference, meaning that it's almost a guaranteed fact. When the dollar index is down, gold and silver is up, and vice versa. But right now, we're seeing silver go up regardless of the dollar index. And that's what I'm always talking about. Regardless of stock market volatility, regardless of the dollar index, regardless of what's happening with crypto, regardless of any of that, silver can still rise because it's taking on a life of its own, and it isn't so attached to what other things are doing. That's extremely good news. So we're going to dive into both of these things. Make sure you're subscribed. You got to be subscribed. We're on the road to 40,000. Cannot thank you guys enough. Channel's been blowing up, and just remember, more is to come. I'm always always looking for ways to one up my channel, to one up the content, to get you guys more engaged, to put on a better show for you guys. And I'm so excited for what this year has to come. Trust me, I'm cooking up some big things. I got some amazing people behind me on my team, on the Silver Slayer team. Shout out! I know you know who you are. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. But anyways, 2 months ago we published our much talked about outrageous predictions for 2021. Asked you guys to vote for one that you thought was most likely to happen. The results are in, and we can reveal that sun shines on silver, which sizzles on solar panel demand, was chosen by our readers as the winner. Now that I'm glad that people finally see that silver's time is here. The perfect storm is here. The stars have aligned, and it really does make sense, rightfully so. We're looking at silver being the number one performing asset in 2020. A lot of people predicting it to be the number one performing asset in 2021. In 2020, the number one performing asset compared to stocks, crypto. Think about this year. I wouldn't have thought last year, but this year, as stimulus gets thrown out, as we really go into this new digital age, as silver is the main component in all these new gadgets, I would think this year would be the year for silver to take that role. Not even last year, but now it's just the beginning. So silver has received a lot of attention during the past couple of weeks, especially after an initially successful social media-driven attempt to ramp it higher quickly ran out of steam. While we have no objection to the direction, which we believe makes sense from a fundamental perspective, the timing was wrong, and more importantly, the narrative was used falsely and therefore bound to make it short-lived. And that's true, but it's not bad, right? That's not a bad thing. A lot of seeds have been planted. We see what the markets can do, but speculation alone is not going to get silver to new highs. It has to be more off fundamentals. It has to be more off supply and demand. It has to be off of those things, not someone trying to manipulate the market from a post. And I'm glad that didn't happen, because if silver can be manipulated like that, that's not good. We invest in the silver for its intrinsic value, for its real uses, not some people trying to say, let's squeeze it up real quick. If that can be affected that quickly or that easy, imagine how that could work for the downside as well. That's why precious metals are safe havens, because there's stability in that. There's real value. You can't just manipulate a market going upwards or downwards, because it holds value within itself, and there's other things that are at play, but larger things at stake or behind the scenes that are also going to keep that value there. That's why gold and silver has been seen as a form of value or exchangeable money for over 5,000 years. Following a period of consolidation, however, the white metal is once again on the move, and this time with the support of a recovering gold price, renewed dollar weakness, and surging metal prices in general. That doesn't happen. The increased focus on rising inflation and the green transformation theme has, if anything, strengthened the belief in the outlook for green or key green transformation metals such as copper, used in everything from wiring, electronics, electric vehicles, and platinum due to tightening emission regulation and regular combustion engines, as well as accelerating demand for platinum-based electrolyzers, capacity towards the production of green hydrogen. Into this category, we also find silver, given it's benefiting from increased investment as industrial demand, photovoltaic cells, which are in solar panels, and this is just the start. I mean, they're talking about no emissions by 2030, and some people are calling 2025. The whole entire world's jumping on board. China's jumping on board. That means, and here we go. Here's where some of the 2030 is what I heard the U.S. Someone else called out 2025. China's 2060 carbon neutral goal. This is really bullish for precious metals. Think about it. This means that there is going to be so much new uses, new innovations, solar panels, all this stuff, which is photovoltaics, which is silver, is going to be booming. Silver demand is going to be booming. But there's not much silver to go around. And the silver that is dug up is getting held by the investors nowadays, or it's stuck in ETFs. And here's the scary thing: most silver that's dug up is thrown away. Gold that's dug up is recycled, re-scrapped, reused. Silver that's dug up is thrown away. So the recirculating supply of silver is very low. The recirculating supply of gold is very high. So there's going to be shortage. There's already a scarce. Silver's already scarce. If you don't believe me, look at the premiums on bullion coins like American Eagles. So in conclusion, I maintain a positive outlook for precious metals and semi-precious metals, but whether we see an outrageous gain in silver remains to be seen. Called the populist metal by Goldman Sachs, there is no doubt that it has received a whole new army of followers in recent weeks, and that is definitely something to take note of. I mean, look at how many more subscribers I've gotten. I mean, look at the amount of views that I get on my videos nowadays, right? I used to get 2,000, 3,000. Now my videos are getting 7,000 to 10,000, right? And that's something to pay attention to. And I definitely pay attention to that. What things are happening in the economy that's driving attention, or what's, where do people focus on, or what's the driving force behind people? Is it something from, and I say that like this, and I say that for this reason. Most people invest in the precious metals during times of economic uncertainty, right? When there's a global pandemic, or something along the lines of, you remember this all started with the U.S.-China trade negotiation way back a couple years ago. U.S.-China trade war. That's where people started to look at precious metals, because they started not trusting governments. And then the global pandemic happened. Remember the Saudi Arabian oil fields getting attacked? It was the Iran tensions, the Hong Kong protests. All that stuff started to happen. Then the global pandemic happened, and all that got pushed on the back burner. Nobody remembers that stuff. But during that, you can see waves of when people pay attention to precious metals more. It's safe haven. And right now, we're seeing the biggest we're seeing the most attention to it, and I think it's because people are starting to realize the stimulus we're throwing out is actually weakening the dollar, especially with this Reddit frenzy. Just put the nail in the coffin, and now people see silver as a real investment with real potential and real value, and that's a great thing. That's a great thing, not just for my channel, but because I actually want people to be investing and be preserving their wealth, or putting their money in something that holds value, right? I hope as many people see my channel as possible so I can help them preserve their wealth instead of keep it in a collapsing dollar or something pegged to the collapsing dollar, which is just like switching seats on the Titanic, right? So anyways, I thought that was some really good stuff. This one, it's short-lived. If you want to watch the video covering it, it's from FX Empire. It's just talking about declining gold to silver ratio provides support to silver. Dollar index managed to settle above the resistance at 90, and the next resistance at the 50 EMA, which is bearish for silver and gold price today. Gold managed to settle below the support at $1,830, and it should be noted in recent weakness in the gold market's worrisome for silver bulls. Right now, the decline of the gold-silver ratio, which is currently trying to settle below 67, proves or provides some support to silver. However, if the gold to silver ratio fails to continue its downside move while gold moves lower, silver will find itself under pressure. Now, we saw the gold to silver ratio as high as 125 to 1 in last March. That was the highest we've ever seen it. That was historical highs that we will be reading in history books for centuries. Now, 125 to 1, now it's down to 67. When the gold to silver ratio goes down, that means silver is outperforming gold. Silver has been outperforming gold so much that it went from 125 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. Now it takes only 67 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. Silver has been blowing gold out of the water. That's why my name is Silver Slayer, not Gold Slayer. But anyways, since this level 67, it still is technically high. The gold to silver ratio, an average level nowadays, and the keywords nowadays, is around the 60 to 70 level. Now, it comes out of the ground roughly 8 to 1. It's actually lower than that, looking at how nobody's digging up silver and how most silver is lost while gold is recycled. But regardless, it's 8-1. It comes out of the ground, out of the Earth's crust, 8-1. So 67-1 is still extremely high. I don't see why we're not basing it off of out of the ground. Back in biblical times, it was. The gold to silver ratio was 8-1 because it came out of the ground 8-1. Then a little later, once the 1900s came, 16-1. Then in 1930, FDR changed the gold to silver ratio from 16-1 to 75-1. FDR, when he got in office, he single-handedly devalued silver. Now, interesting stuff. Can it go back to those lower levels? A lot of people believe, especially as silver takes on a life of its own. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you thought this video was educational, informational, at least entertaining, make sure to smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. I post daily videos. I'm doing tons of giveaways. Go enter my 37,000 subscriber giveaway right now if you already haven't. Who wouldn't want to win some free silver? I mean, how amazing is that? Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.